Hello, everyone. My name is Will, or on here, Special Ed Warriors. It's nice to see all of you. I'm new to YouTube with this channel. A little history. I was a former special education teacher. I taught for 4.5 years. For those years, in the behavioral unit for students with severe autism at a public middle school. Then I switched over to a private school for special needs, thinking that the grass would be greener, but that wasn't the case, and I left. And now I kind of been wanting to still help students with special needs, so I started this channel that I hope to grow and collaborate with other content creators and people who want to help special needs kids like me. So with that said, I wanted to actually. I was on Reddit, which I know is kind of scary, and I found this one community, special education, and there was one post called "My District Doesn't Care," and I wanted to go through that post with you, read through the Reddit. So let's do it, shall we? There we go. So right here it says, "My just like 5 days ago, my district doesn't care." And the person said, "I have worked to become good at teaching reading, spent an enormous amount of time doing this. It worked. My students thrive. However, my district doesn't care. All they want is behavior management. They care less about academic achievement. It is clear. I want to focus on academics, but I'm absolutely not supported by admin. If there are any parents here with kids that need help in reading, do not expect the schools to help. School admin wants to sped to take behaviors so they don't have to. That's all they focus on. Less admin has to do with behaviors, the happier they are. Good luck getting your kids to improve academically if they're disabled in the school. You're SPED, which special education teachers being forced to deal with behaviors, and academics mean nothing to the principal. Public schools are no good anymore when it comes to thriving academically. I'm leaving, done with this. They throw it at us. I'm done with throw at us. So that's kind of how I felt. Now, I don't know what kind of person this is. Must be, I guess, does they teach reading? As a reading teacher, I wasn't a reading teacher. I actually was. I actually taught kids with autism, level 3 autism, very severe autism. And all I was doing all the time was behavior management. I couldn't do a lot academically, mainly because unfortunately the level was so low. Talking about middle school students between 11 and 14, but mentally they're like 2 years old, and with their behaviors, it was mostly just behavior management. But I really didn't get any support myself, not from the administration or from district. They didn't seem to care about me either, and that's kind of why I left the public school, went to private, thinking it would be better. It wasn't the case. So I really feel the frustration here because you want to help these kids, but people aren't. There's no one to help support you. The only people you can kind of rely on, hopefully, is your peers, your fellow teachers. But even then, they only do so much. So let's keep leading on what they have to say. So this person says, I have multiple students who are not getting their IEP minutes met because their specialists are getting pulled daily to support with severe behaviors in general ed students. I don't see things getting better anytime soon. So this one I definitely understand as well because as I was not only the special education teacher for the participatory class, which was like very low level functioning students with autism, I also was the case manager, and I created IEPs and put down the minutes for the services like speech and if they had physical therapy, occupational therapy, ABA therapy, and it was really surprising and heartbreaking that these kids were not getting the minutes that they were supposed to get every week. Because some of my kids are supposed to get like 90 minutes of speech, 60 minutes of speech, or 30 minutes of OT or physical therapy, and they weren't getting it. Be lucky the therapist even came in. It was like more put on me to like try to do that stuff when I wasn't supposed to. I'm not the therapist. I'm the teacher. I'm supposed to be trying to teach them academically as well as work on behaviors. Now on top of that, you want me to wear another hat and be, the PT, OT, speech, language therapist. It was just getting to be too much. It's really heartbreaking. And the parents, you can't say anything to the parents because you work for district, because you're employed. So you're not allowed to say anything, or else you can, lose your job. District doesn't want you to say anything. But at the same time, it's not really the therapist's fault. I mean, they do find ways to get out of it for sure. But a lot of times, I know where I live in Florida, they don't hire enough therapists, so the caseloads are so big that they kind of pick and choose who they really have to pick and choose who they want to like service, and they kind of try to get rid of the other ones or put them on, you know, what's the word? Oh, I can't think of it. They just I forget the name, but they'll just check in like consultation, like monthly consultation, and that's how they get away with it. Those come in and like even not even come in, just like send email to the teacher asking how they're doing. No, that's it, and they check the box saying they had contact. This is crazy. It isn't getting better, And a lot of times too, a lot of these therapists, like I said, not only are they all working with special ed kids, they also are working with the gen ed kids. They have to service them as well. And a lot of times admin wants to focus more on the gen ed kids than the special ed kids. What kind of see as the redhead stepchildren a lot of times, special needs kids, especially the autism units. They kind of get put to the side. We don't matter. It's very sad. It's like, what's the point? What are we doing here? They talk about inclusion, yet our kids are always like where I was, the public middle school I was at, well, in the back of the school, not really seen by any other gen ed kids. So, gen ed kids even know, who these kids were. When they saw them come off the bus, they would just look at them like so strange because the way they looked and acted. There's no really interaction. And the attempt by admin to kind of have gen ed kids, interact with the autism students, it was really sad. And see, so Gloomy Wolf 982 says, I don't think I've ever commented here, but I just couldn't read and not comment on this. As a parent, it's so disheartening. So as a parent, more parents need to speak up. And really, I don't think a lot of parents know either, or don't feel like they have a voice, but they could change a lot. They just need to speak out. At least I feel like it. For context, I have a widow that is nearing 4. She is disabled in a wheelchair, dependent, walks with lots of assistance, and a posterior walker. She will still pack she will start pre-K with an IEP, which is international individual educational plan. That's what students get to who have special needs. Help them succeed in academics. That's what the whole point of it is. In the fall, we've been getting services this past year to school: academics 2 hours monthly, PT physical therapy 2 hours monthly, and OT, which is occupational therapy, which works more. So PT is more actually like moving around, climbing upstairs. And OT is more like the actual like grabbing things, eating, be able to dress themselves, wash their hands, brush their teeth. I initially joined because we haven't gone PT services since August. I just kind of wanted to know, what do I do from here? That's a good question. To come full circle, I also have another daughter. She's 19. She's an adult, finishing up her second year of college, and all the professions to pick. She wants to be a teacher. Of course, as a mom, I'm cheering her on and supporting her, but my goodness, I hate it for her. I hate when she chose to spend her life doing. I hate what she's chose to spend her life doing. I hate that both of my girls are being thrust into the system that doesn't give too little about them. My mama heart is breaking for my girls and for all the teachers that are in public school with zero support from admin or parents. I don't have a solution. I wish I did. To top it off, the schools have been locked down for 3 days for threats of violence. You all deserve so much better. As a parent, I'm so sorry. Well, I mean, Gloomy Wolf 9882, I really appreciate that. I think a lot of teachers do appreciate that. It's not easy, and it's no wonder more and more teachers are leaving, especially in special education, because the kids are just not. It's bad that the gen ed kids aren't getting supported, but the special needs kids who really need the support are definitely not getting supported. And teachers just get more and more responsibilities on top of their plate load. They can't just be teachers, and they have to do it on their own, no support. They don't get any hazard pay either. Working with kids with like severe behaviors like I did. I had to get dressed up with the gloves and sleeves and arm pads, shoulder pad, like just like look like I was going to war. Face masks that wouldn't spit. This even before COVID, spit at you and stuff, and scratch at you and bite you. But of course, that's more severe cases. But I wasn't getting any support by that. The only people I could rely on was my team. District wouldn't come in. District wouldn't help. I mean, if they did come in, they would just kind of be quick to tell us, oh, you need to do this, do that, but they wouldn't show you. They just say you have to do it, and then they would leave. And you had to like figure it out on your own after that. It's very disheartening. And but yeah, more parents. I don't think a lot of parents, but I think when it says zero support from parents, I just don't. I mean, yes, there are parents who don't care. They just put their kids in public school. And they just don't like. That's your problem now. The schools. But I think there's a lot of parents just don't know. What's really going on, especially in special needs. That the kids are not getting the services, not getting the support that they think they're supposed to be getting. And the more parents knew and spoke up, I think things would change. But I just don't know. So mother of the hood says, not all schools are that way. There are good schools and bad. Schools in every district and good and bad districts as a whole. Oh, there are good schools and bad schools in every district and good and bad districts as a whole. I'm in a decent district and an amazing school in my district. My special education team is amazing. As a para, which is a assistant, paraprofessional, is an assistant in the classroom, they encouraged me to step forward and get my license because we were in desperate need of a teacher, and they all believed I could do it. And that I can believe too, because I actually started 3 years as a substitute, and I kind of fell into working with, I guess they call, at least in Florida and I guess around the country, ESE, which is like exceptional student education, which is this another term for SPED, special education. I started working with those kids and worked in the autism unit at the one public school. I kind of just fell in love with it and really liked working there. Then one day I actually got asked to be a paraprofessional where I am instructional assistant IA. So I actually worked in the behavioral unit as an IA for like 2 years. And then one of the teachers in that unit was retiring, and I was able to get their job. I was then teaching at the participatory level um, in the unit. It was really cool. But the admin and HR supported me at an alternative pathway where I filled the position. My SPED and GED Ed peers, so the other special education teacher and Jed Ed, this regular teacher, are supporting me to learn the ropes as I go. We have an amazing PTA at our school too. I wouldn't want it anywhere else. Well, that's nice. The PTA at the Parent Teacher Association. We didn't have much where I was, but again, I learned the ropes from my peers. That's the only people I could like learn from was the people around me. I learned a lot, and that's how I became a teacher. I was because of them. I really am very grateful for that. So now to the original post. Absolutely, our team gets behaviors pushed towards us with admin is busy. However, it's usually the ones that we see are in RTI, which I'm not sure that is. Again, I work more with autism kids, not this general special needs, and on the way to be caseloads for us anyway. Otherwise, there are multiple desks in the office for students to sit when needed. So yes, so I guess like Gen Ed is like it's just the umbrella is so huge with ESE. I mean, like I focus more on the very severe like cases with autism, but I mean the umbrella is so big when it comes to special needs that there are so much in Gen Ed, especially nowadays. So over in classrooms, not just like the specialty classrooms, ESE. So there's so many kids, and like I said, this don't. But it seems like this district they just don't hire or they just can't get people to fill the positions. I don't know what, and that's why the caseloads are so big. And then like so many kids are just swept under the rug and forgotten about. It's very sad. But I mean, I'm sure there are some schools. I mean, not all schools are bad. The last school I was at before I left, the private school, it wasn't bad, but they seemed again their focus. There was support, but they just seemed to be more heavily on the money, and that was just I couldn't take that. So someone says, I agree with this. Some principals balance behaviors and academics. I just have never had one. I think they're aware. That's true. If you want a recommendation for your little, please ignore if you don't. Be the parent knocking down school doors. I agree. Now, talk 23. In districts like that, squeaky wheel definitely gets the oil. Nothing is squeakier than a parent threatening a school for not doing what they're supposed to do. August, that's ridiculous. Start with case management, then go up. I definitely agree that parents need to definitely like knock on the school door. I mean, yes, case managers, but like I was the case manager and I really couldn't do much. I mean, you have to go straight to district. That's where you have to go. You have to go to the school board. You have to complain. You have to go straight to the horse's mouth. You can't, case managers, they can't really do much. You have to go straight to district and complain, and more parents have to do that. Gloomy Roof replied back. I did back 1st September, the PT actually called me. She wasn't getting paid, informed me that she wasn't coming back until she did get back. Wasn't coming back until she did get back. I spoke to the OT, occupational therapist, same scenario. She wasn't getting paid either. Both of them said this happened 2 years prior. Both of them said they eventually do get paid. OT continued services because it was easier for her than trying to make up service hours after getting paid. Spoke to the special education director. He basically said I dropped the ball. October, I went to superintendent of the district. She gave me an explanation of what she thought happened. He tuned his budget in late or near deadline, and we were waiting on the state to approve and release funds, is what I gathered. End of January, I reached back to our PT. She said, I'm not coming back whether I get paid or not. So wow, these people aren't even getting like paid. The OT, these therapists, the post provider, so they weren't even getting paid. I mean, no wonder they want to do service. I mean, not getting paid. I want to help these kids, but at the same time, I mean, they should be getting paid. It's not right. She said, I'm not coming. So end of January, I reached back out to PT. She said, I'm not coming back whether I get paid or not. I said, you don't have to explain to me. I wouldn't be back either. 1st of February at board meeting, the PT and OT finally get paid. Then to top it all off, yesterday I signed off on ESY. So that's extended school year. So like the kid spends more time. Like usually it's done. Well, I know in Florida, it's like they put hours, so many hours throughout the year during the day. So if the kid goes from school from 8 to 3, to have extended school. Well, extended school year is more like, I guess, I'm sorry, I'm getting that confused with extended school days. Extended school year is like summer program. Things to continue schooling after the initial school year is over. They can go back. They can continue in the summer, have some more time. Which definitely kids with special needs, especially like autism, definitely good for them because they have the routine and they have to keep with that routine. I asked the SPED teacher how they determined that, and she didn't qualify PT service because there's no data. Patient waiting for IEP meeting because no, help me, goodness, my child deserves the bare minimum, and she's not getting that. Oh well, so they signed up for ESY, and it's like a whole process to do the ESY. I had to get data, but they don't have. But then it says she doesn't qualify for PT because there's no data. But I guess if the PT wasn't getting paid and came back, and I guess they probably wasn't. If they did see him, I guess they just if they weren't getting paid. I guess they didn't really care, so they didn't collect any data, and that's really against the law, I would think. I mean, supposed to get services to begin with, and there's no data to that they should have had data. That's I you think there'd be like criminal charges on that. Wow. Also, I said my friend with the case manager. I've known her for years. I know that most everyone in the district, I think, the blame falls solely on the director. I know everyone in education is underpaid and overworked, but my priority is safety of my kid. It's all frustrating. I was prepared to get an advocate. I was prepared to file a complaint. Then I just stopped because I have guilt. Education is a tough job. Well, this I think it's the same on Gloomy Roof. She shouldn't stop. She definitely should get an advocate and really go after the district. I mean, if you stop, that's when district wins. There's no change. You have to keep going. You can't. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but especially the parents, you have to keep fighting. I mean, it's hard for teachers to keep doing it. I mean, because they're attached to the district payroll, so they can't do much to begin with. It's the parents who really do have to fight. I keep saying that. So Demel says, 24, I'm also overwhelmed with behaviors. It's this new norm. It's not okay. But behavior is part of special education. It shouldn't be 100% on us. And we need support from admin. Yes. Psychiatrists. Yes. My kids, I think, supposed to get screenings from psychiatrists. I think we have school psychiatrists, but they're never actually at the school. I think they had to go to multiple schools. I don't know. It was crazy. Same thing with the nurses. We actually had a nurse, and the one that was there, I thought she was a nurse, but she was just the assistant. The actual nurse was like never there. She was like going to different other schools. It was crazy. With supportive admin, it's very possible to do both. No fun, it sucks, but you can do both. I'm sorry you don't have that. Exactly, you need support. Psalmist mom, we all want to focus energies on what we find most rewarding. So being pulled from the part of your job you have worked hard to master in order to do part of your job that you have to do, not find as rewarding, will always be hard. Do any schools around you have reading specialists? In SPED, special education behaviors, and people will go with the territory. Gen Ed teachers really have the training. That's true. It's special education. We are trained, well, somewhat trained. You kind of learn this by being in the classroom experience, but behaviors and paperwork definitely is this part of that's pretty much all a special education teacher does is this behavior and paperwork. No matter if it's working with kids with severe autism, with this kids with Asperger's or anything else. I never say anything about Gen Ed though. Yeah, I do it literally every day. I'm often taken from my small groups to deal with behavior. It's ridiculous and unfair to us. All I'm saying is dealing with behavior is part of the job, though the amount of behavior is acceptable lately. But the parts to deal with both academics and behavior with the support of good administrators. So yeah, I've heard that from the therapists. They get pulled from like sometimes they have to cancel. They're supposed to come in. Like they do schedule like times every week to come in to work with like my kids. At least when I was at the public school. But sometimes they have to cancel because they had to be pulled away to work with other with the gen ed kids. It's like how's that fair? Especially my kids with severe autism. They should be first to get services. They're gonna be put to the side because admin wants you to work with the gen ed kids. It's not fair. I don't understand. And to get away with it, it's very disheartening. So I interrupted. Take behaviors to mean take behaviors back from Gen Ed. What do you mean by take behavior? Where are you taking them from? I hope you're leaving a school that's better fit for you. Like, oh, that's from the original post. I'm not the one who wrote this post. Just commented. This one says I got no advice. I can just commensurate. I'm not in sped ed, special ed. It's bad out there right now for all us teachers, admin, paraprofessionals, and other staff. I've seen the writing on the wall, and it's not going any better. You're smart to one. I'm sorry for what you have to endure. For all you've endured. I mean, I'm the same boat. I kind of left. I just don't know if we want to go back. Even the private sector is really no better unless you really find, I don't know, support, a really good supportive school, and that's just really hard to find. As a mom, as a mom who has a child with reading difficulties going through the process of dyslexia, so that's also a thing. Thank you for putting in the effort. It means so much for parents and kids. I promise you. So that's a big thing too. I mean, that's more gen ed because it's not they have to go to a special classroom, but they have trouble reading. But at the same time, I mean, those kids need help too, and but at the same time, they can't help the kids who already they can't help who they already have. How are they gonna be able to help this kid, even if he gets tested for dyslexia? I highly doubt. I hate to say it, if he really get the help he needs, depending on the school he's at. That's when parents have to even have to get outside help, and sometimes insurance doesn't cover that. You have to pay that yourself. At least I know with autism. This person says, I am so discouraged by the fact that the science of reading is not taught at the university level. I have had to go out on my own to learn this, and I'm seeing that schools are beginning to teach students this way, but are still behind. And even further discouraging the fact that these older principals do not understand it at all. They make too many decisions and don't refer to experts on the matter. So let's talk more about reading, about this, because I know this. Well, I guess this was more about the post initially started with being a reading teacher. So I don't have much to say about that. I mean, yes, I mean principals. I mean, I don't know about older principals. I've had older principals and like a younger principal, and they seem to all be the same. To be honest with you, on the end of the day, they're just trying to cover their own butts and trying to just, you know, keep district happy. This one says yes, and the fact most students will learn from a structured literary program. So yeah, I don't really. That's more reading. I'm not really know much about that. Teaching. So I'm just curious about what Matthew found as most effective in teaching reading of pre-K teachers. This is more reading. Not that. So curriculum do you recommend? Phonics. News to You, News to You is a good program. I used it in the public school and in my private school. News to You is great. They have articles of special needs. It doesn't just be autism, but it's on different levels of reading. It starts with like the really low with pictures. Each like word has a picture to help associate, and it kind of continues on and gets and then gets it's just like short sentences, and then like more advanced. It's like a little more like a paragraph with pictures, and there's like, or you can choose like no pictures, it's like full on sentences if they're that good at reading. And they have different articles about things going on in the world every week. It's not cheap, but it's a very good resource. I definitely recommend News to You. Reading A to Z. You won't find any phonics curriculum. Yeah, so you have to make your own phonics stuff. I had to make my own curriculum in special ed because they didn't have anything. I had to make my own. I mean, they gave us like this is the subjects, and my kids for being severe autism, they actually had to like learn. I still expect to teach them algebra and geometry and chemistry. Well, not chemistry, but like physical science, earth science. Now again, these kids they might be in middle school, but intellectually they're like 2 years old. They want me to teach like American history, and algebra It's like I only can do so. I had to, but there was no curriculum. I actually had to make that myself to teach them because again, and then they would get tested just like any other kid. The standardized state test they had to take every year, which again is another joke. I'd make a video on that. So I'm sorry your school district leadership is treating you this way. The better districts and may need teachers. I will look around and see what I'll feel affluent Maryland send their kids to public schools with well-funded special needs programs applied to teach there. It's true. It's hard though to get into there. It's like it's about who you know really to get into any of the good like public schools with special needs programs. Even private schools, you really need to know people, or I guess, or because even if they have an opening at like a really good school, a lot of times they'll really they won't pick the one you would think would be good for the job. They just pick someone they know or a friend that the administration knows, and it's really sad that way. So I'm on my third principal in my current school. Under the first, I was expected to be on call for severe behaviors, which was constant. Even if the student was gen ed, they would text all day long, and I would be expected to drop everything, go to the room they were staying. It was infuriating. Over the years, I put my foot down more and more. At least got to where I was last on the list to respond to behaviors. But I was still needed, especially if other staff members were absent. So it's more. We had that in the public school. They have assistants who generally just focus on behavior, and they go in and pull kids out and deal with them. And that, I God bless them. That was a hard. That was. I mean, I worked with kids that would hit, bits, kicks, throw the fecal matter, at you. But that was a hard job too. You have kids cursing at you, and you can't do anything. And then they can put hands on you, and I'm talking about gen ed kids who actually know better than like the kids I worked with, autistic kids who were more intellectually disabled. And a lot of those people left too. Had to find new behavioral people because they just couldn't take the gen ed kids. Because again, you can't touch them, and the gen ed kids know that too. You can't do anything about it. So 4 years in, we got a new principal. She took IEP minutes very seriously. Obviously, that's what should happen. But IMO, it's where I had her for 6 years. I was never one time called out for teaching to deal with behavior. However, I did miss services because I've been expected to attend data teams, MTSSs, problem-solving meetings in the middle of the day, etc. Last couple of years, I was putting my foot down on that as well. Last year, my data was frequently astounding. You know why? Because I actually taught every single day, all day long. I didn't go to MSTS meetings or data team, and I assisted the problem-solving meetings only could during the time we have in our schedule to assess sci-fi IEP meetings. Well, good for that person. It's kind of like, I guess, I don't know what they were, but as a teacher, they took their foot down. I don't know, the teacher, or I guess it started with behaviors, but they actually were able to teach. They said, no more, I'm just going to teach, and someone else figure out the behaviors, and they actually were able to, I guess, collect the data. Because, I mean, that's all nonsense, too. I did that, too. A lot of times you want to do things, and they put you in meetings you have to go to, and just different other things. You want to get things done, you can't do it. You expect to go to this meeting and that meeting. It's all a waste of time at the end of the day. And it's like, only here for the kids, and I have no time, and you have to take it home if you're trying to like, especially as a teacher, try to like put things together or solve any like behavior problems. So this year we got principal number 3 who have been previously worked at the school, in another world. I got smart, put my foot down from the beginning this time. I believe the words I said at the beginning of this year were, I want to go backwards. It's one of the reasons I won't leave my current school. I know the setup I have is where I would absolutely ask a ton of questions I would ever interview elsewhere. That's definitely something I've learned too. Definitely a lot of questions. A lot of times the schools will not, they're very hesitant to tell you anything. It's not until you actually take the position and go into the classroom or school where you find like, oh, no wonder no one was wanting this job. So you definitely have to ask questions, and I forget that too. So emotional disability and ADHD, where a lot of behaviors come from. We had that too. That was more what we called the independent level. That was more the emotional kids. They really didn't have like, they might be a little intellectually disabled, but they were pretty much like regular kids. But they would just like curse at you and or cry, gets upset out of nowhere, or get really mad at you the next minute, just up and down all the time. EBD, but they don't really call it EBD anymore. as qualifiers for IDEA. And IDEA, that's the whole reason behind special education is IDEA to give special needs kids the same rights in school. If you want to teach reading, then I would find a position where that is all you teach. True, but you still gonna get behaviors. Also, even said that behavior kids also are lower readers, but you should know this if you teach SPED. True, but even reading, I mean, regular, if you teach regular reading classes, I mean, most of the kids in there nowadays are probably gonna have some type of special needs as well in their behavior, so you really can get away from it. So this person says, my experience is kind of different. It was the teacher who didn't care. My son's last IEP, the teacher only put behavior goals and no academic goals. She tried to get me to agree with it because they couldn't teach him until his behavior was under control. That's true, but here's a school to learn. I've been doing everything I can to work on this behavior with the resource I have. I was lucky, and the director of SPED was at the IEP meeting. He shot the teacher down and said that it needs to be academic goals also. So yes, I mean I've learned that too as at the public school anyway. I've tried to do anything I could for the kids, even spend my own money to help these kids. But be a lot of teachers that, especially in the autism world, just give them iPad all day and just let them sit on it and not help them. They don't want to deal with the behaviors, and since they were fine on an iPad, they just let them be on iPad all day. And I got a lot of kids from like elementary school too when I was teaching middle school, but that was the expectation the kids had that they was going to get an iPad and sit around all day. So when I started like not to do that and give them, we had to actually have subjects and work. It took quite some time to build that routine because coming from elementary school where they kind of sat around and could do whatever they wanted, watch iPads, watch YouTube videos, hit, kick kids, do whatever. And then all of a sudden they came to me in middle school. It's like, nope, you can't do it anymore. We're going to work on behavior. And it took time. And again, only people I could lean on was my team, not admin or district. But there's a lot of teachers. I mean, find ways to get around IEPs. And I mean, and not list things that really the kid does need, or because the teacher doesn't want to do any more work, so they don't do it. They don't want to add more work. Same thing with excuse me, as well as therapists. They don't, they'll try to write the kids off because they don't want to do as much with the kids, less kids they have to worry about. It's very sad. Try to, write the kid off as much as possible so they're not as needed, so they don't have to work one less kid in the caseload. So that's pretty much it for the Reddit post. I just wanted to share it with you. I'm sorry for rambling on. It's not scripted. I kind of just wanted to like just show that special education, I mean education altogether, especially ed, especially special, especially special education. Say that 3 times fast. Is definitely is not looking good. It's very hard, and it does. I feel like no one like I feel the same way. Like I felt like my district didn't care about me when I was in the public school, and not just about me, but didn't care about the kids. All they saw was dollar signs. Making sure the IP was winning, so they get the money from the kids. But with the so much money they get from the scholarships, but it's very sad. And I hope to make more videos because I really want to help. I really want to try to be a voice for students with special needs. So please, if you like what you watched, please hit that like button and please subscribe. I'd love to have you try to help change special education for the better. So thank you, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. We can fix special education. I know we can. Bye.